I've been excited for this conversation for a while now. Every now and then, I would see a new vertical for my next guest just pop up randomly, and I would watch it, no questions asked. He brings this stern but subtle energy that doesn't just draw you in, but completely immerses you. I'm eager to find out a little more of his journey and how he made it onto our screens. Carl Maddox, welcome to Verdi Chat with Mads.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here.
Of course.
I'm going to start off like the generic way. Can we start off with you telling me a little bit about yourself?
Yes. My name's Kyle Maddox. I'm sure we'll get into it, but I stumbled upon verticals in like 2023, whatever it was that kind of started. Didn't know what it was. I just, decided to give it a shot as an audition, and I did it and booked the part and had a lot of fun with this. That's kind of how, the vertical side started. But me personally, I'm from Bend, Oregon, which is a beautiful kind of high desert community. A lot of skiing, a lot of snowboarding, a lot of like river stuff, rock climbing. It's a lot of fun. Um, I was there for a long time. I lived on the East Coast for a minute, moved back to the West Coast. I'm in California now, but yeah, I've had a lot of life in my short time on this earth. I was a police officer for a bit, which again I know we'll probably get into, but that kind of led me into acting. So here we are.
I'm really like curious to find out how. Like, because they are two like opposite.
Yeah, oh, very. But they're also very similar, I found out too, which it's interesting. I'll tell you why.
Elaborate.
But
Tell me why. Like, elaborate.
I guess, I mean, in life, we act a little bit every day. You just don't realize it. When there's that person that comes up and says hi to you that you don't necessarily like, but you have to act like you like them, or, if it's your boss is talking to you at work, whatever it is, we handle each situation differently, right? Like interactions. So that's essentially acting. I mean, obviously we're being genuine, but it's like talking with people. That's basically acting. And with law enforcement, you talk to people all day, every day. Most of the time they're complete strangers and yeah, so you just have to kind of put your best foot forward that way. It's all improv. That's all life is. It's just one big improv.
You can say that again.
Uh,
No, has it been a dream of yours since you were like knee high to a grasshopper? Or like,
yeah, definitely. So I feel very lucky. I'm in my early 30s, but I'm also able to say I've been able to pursue two dreams in my lifetime. So, when I was a little kid, I my dad was a police officer, so that's how that world kind of came to be in my view. But yeah, my dad was a cop. I was the kid that when I was like 5, I sat in his police car and I was like, "This is what I'm gonna do." Turned on the lights, turned on the sirens. That was fun. But then I also was super into film and TV. We had a tradition. We would watch like a Disney movie every Friday night as a family. We'd have, dinner, pizza, whatever. We'd get to eat in the living room and watch a Disney movie. So I was always very, very into film from an early age as well. I also, like, I'd get the neighborhood kids together. We'd do little short films on like our VHS camcorders and I do all that. Through high school, I do like YouTube sketches. I did stand up for a while as well. So I've always kind of had a foot in each industry, the police and the entertainment one. Never really knew what I wanted to go for until I was at the end of high school. I got real into the law enforcement stuff. It's a very stable job. It's very safe in terms of like finances and having a job, having a paycheck every 2 weeks, is going to come through. So that was nice, but I went that route, and then yeah, that ended up oddly enough leading me back to entertainment, and this that was in 2019, so it's been 7 years.
what? That's wild.
Yeah.
Well, at the end of schooling, like you just like what about I don't know, the police work
Mhm.
like led you to that instead of like did you do like theater and that in school?
No, I never did. I wish I did. Now that I'm an actor, I'm like I would have loved to have had some theater background, but I mean, I did like a little improv group. I got kicked out of it actually because my I grew up in Utah. Utah is a very unique place culturally. I'll say it that way. But It's great. It's great. Like you know, I got friends of all different religious backgrounds and stuff, and they're great, but wasn't necessarily my cup of tea in Utah, and my sense of humor didn't really fit with their sense of humor. So it's long story short, it's whatever. I got doing stand up after that, so it was fine. But yeah, so the actual event, I can place it to one event. So um essentially I was working as a shift, like working a shift as a cop. Oops, sorry. And my sergeant, his cousin, was a director, or is a director, him and his wife. They were doing a indie film, like a feature film, and it was in the city I worked in. They wanted some real cops to come arrest their actors because they wanted it to look real, look legit, right? So they wanted real cops, real cars. They wanted us to basically just arrest their actors. There was like a bar fight scene. So my sergeant was like, "Hey, does anybody want to be in a movie tonight?" And I was like, "Hell yeah, I do." So I went and spent an hour or two on set. I was like on shift, like I told dispatch. I was like, "Hey, I'm going to be busy for an hour. Can't tell you why," but they were like, "All right, cool, whatever. I don't care." So I was on set filming a movie. They had no idea. So I was doing that for like 2 hours, and then I went back to my shift. But it really opened up my eyes to that world and the actual process of doing it. I'd always just thought about it, didn't have any theater background, never really did it, so I didn't know what it was like. I didn't know how to get into it. But then I was on set. I was like, wow, this is awesome. Like, this is a lot of fun. I think I might want to do this. Couple that with the fact that I was just not really satisfied in Utah where I was living, where I was at in my life. I wanted to change. I wanted something new. And I had a buddy that was moving out to California, and I convinced him to land in LA, and we moved there together, and that's what got it started in 2019.
That is wild. But it's like you think you never would have thought like instead of like just leaving Utah police and
Mhm.
like transferring somewhere, you would have stayed with the police. Or is it just
Yeah, I
because of like
thought
Utah in general? Like you
Yeah,
wanted to
I
go to
I did
acting?
think about that, and it's you're gonna get a good interview today because I just went through something very specific with this that I think is gonna help me a lot in the long run. But long story short is no, I didn't want to transfer with it because I thought it would be really hard to do police and acting at the same time. You have to commit a certain amount of time to a law enforcement career, training, court, all that stuff, your shifts. And it's a lot. It basically takes up your whole life to where I wouldn't have as much time as I really would have wanted to be able to put towards an acting career, and vice versa. If I was a full-time actor, I wouldn't have the time to commit to a police life. So I kind of just, you know, left it at that. But I got to do a lot of cool, fun stuff out here. I was a bodyguard for a few celebrities when I first moved out here, and that was fun and interesting, but also gave me the flexibility to where I could still do acting. So that was during the COVID riots and all that. So it was like crazy times. Like I worked one night at the Chateau on Sunset, Chateau Marmont, and everyone was like barricading the walls up, like people were like literally protesting and marching right in front of it. Like it was nuts. We had bulletproof vests, we had rifles, and it didn't feel like we were in LA. Felt more like a third world country. But anyway, that was fun. So yeah, so that's kind of why I chose not to transfer with it.
It's fair. Like, can you name drop any of the celebrities?
Oh yeah, no, I'm not in an NDA anymore. No, one was, let's see, one was Cardi B. She was really
What?
cool. Yeah, it was her and her husband at the time, Offset, but they were awesome. They were great. They super nice people, totally like normal outside of, their persona, but they were actually really cool. They kept us on for an extra like 6 weeks after the contract ended because it was just like there was no work. So they were really cool. But I mean, otherwise, just random stuff. I worked the Disney Expo one year, so I was basically working with a whole bunch of different people. Christy Carlson Romano was the one I was with the most there, which she's awesome. Again, she's amazing. But yeah, it's been fun. I've had that was also though. I'm glad you asked that because it's good. That kind of made it real for me with acting is because you're behind the scenes with them, right? So it's like you're basically going with them, especially at the Disney event. I was with them all day. I was seeing their meetings, seeing their panel interviews, taking them to their their meet and greets and all that stuff and just with them all the time. So it made it very attainable for me. It was I could see it, right? I could visualize it because it's actually happening in front of me. And one of them, it was so cool. The same event, the Disney event, but one of the people I was with, or group of people, was the Simpsons creators, and they like talk about creativity. Like they are, I think, the epitome of like creativity and like success with it, and basically just doing their own thing and making it work. But it was so cool to see them do their panels and give their talks and stuff. And then every time we would be moving to a new place, they were constantly bouncing ideas off each other, saying, "Well, what if we did this? And what if we did this?" And Matt Groening, the creator, the original creator, he was so generous in letting every single person put forward their idea. So it didn't matter if you were like a day player, if you were like a producer or a writer or a main actor or whatever. They were all just bouncing ideas off each other, and it was really cool to see that kind of unfold. But yeah, so the biggest thing with that is it just helped me to see that it was possible. You see what it looks like, you're like, oh, they are normal people. I can do that.
Yeah,
But
because
yeah,
you're behind the scenes a little and you get that little bit more information than rather just, what
yeah,
you find on the internet or what you can find like
exactly.
word of mouth. Like talk to it like an actual, I don't know, star, A-lister,
Yeah,
and
100%.
get
One,
that experience firsthand.
yeah, and a lot of people, I mean, it's kind of weird with social media now and Instagram and everything the way it is, but like I've DM'd actors that I've really liked their performance in a show, and some of them get back to me. Like you never know. Like some of them reply and go, "Hey, thanks. I'm glad you liked that. This is what I was thinking of when I was doing this role." And it's just it's crazy. You never know. You got to shoot your shot. You never know what'll happen,
And that's how
right?
I feel with you guys. Like I message anyone and everyone that I have, like I feel like I connect with their performances. I'm not saying that I don't for everybody, but like
Hmm.
I give everybody the opportunity because
Yeah.
my platform, I want to be able to like have the diversity. Because when I first started watching the interviews for you
Hmm.
guys, like there was only like, I don't know, a certain like 15 to 20 people that would always get an interview.
Sure.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm really, 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 really sick of watching the same 20 interviews like
Right.
so many times. And I was like, if and when I start this, I want to include everybody.
Yeah, well, that's great. You did it. You changed the industry. You're making it happen. So good for you.
I'm trying. I'm trying. I'm picking up on like the day players, the extras, the people who don't even,
Yep.
yeah, the people don't even have lines, just
Hmm.
there for the experience, there for the ride, or
Yeah.
like the leads that don't get picked up on. Like I know you've
Yeah.
done interviews before, but like I want to hear firsthand some of your
Yeah.
stories, and I feel like I have, and I'm like, I'm forever grateful.
For sure. Oh, thank you. No, I am too. It's awesome. It's so cool that you guys started doing this. It's one thing that's been really fun about verticals for me is just seeing the impact that it does have on people and seeing that it is, real people watching it. It's not all when it first happened, I'd like with all the views and stuff, I was like, these gotta be all bots. There's no way. These are all just bot accounts, fake accounts. But thank you for giving me faith. It's like there are real people out there watching these enjoying
Of
them. So
course.
it means a lot.
I don't know how many people watch these because like the fan engagement with you guys is not as big as the view counts,
Hmm.
which I don't understand. There are like millions of people, and then the engagement on social media. Like, obviously, you know, everything doesn't have to cross back over to social media, but like if you're
Hmm.
getting like, I don't know, 5 million views within the
Yeah.
first 24 hours, like, I don't know, maybe 3 million of those are like actual people.
Yeah.
And then, well, like obviously all of them could be, but like
Sure.
some might be rewatches.
Yeah, for sure.
So like,
Yep.
I don't know, out of that 5 million, potentially 3 million, like where's the fan engagement with you
Yeah.
guys on? And like, I don't know. That's what's got me puzzled.
It is interesting. Well, and I think too, some of the apps, like they try to keep a lot of the engagement on the app. Like you can comment and like and favorite. It'd be interesting if you could like make that go to like Instagram or TikTok or something. You know what I mean? Like to have them partner with them and do like I don't know. Maybe they are. Maybe I just haven't
I
seen
don't
it.
know. I don't know. But I don't know. It's all, I don't know. I'm still learning.
Yeah. Hey, me too.
Like, and the apps are like communicating with us, like the fans.
Yeah.
I've seen recently that Is it a nutrition coach?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I started
How
doing
did
that
you get
too on
into
the
that?
side. So I guess yeah, so one of my day jobs I do personal training. I've kind of always done that. So I've just again, it's a super flexible job, way to make a little extra money in between acting jobs and it's fun. I enjoy it. So because I do the personal training side, I just kind of decided to get the nutrition side too, so I can help people out a little more. But yeah, so it's been fun. I just started doing that one. It's it's fun. It's all about food. Could be really boring for some people, but it could be really exciting for some others, I guess. But it's cool. It's all good stuff. It's all about just being healthy, living a good, healthy life. And obviously, the knowledge helps me with my acting career, knowing what to eat, what to lift, all that good stuff.
Could
So
imagine because you got to stay in shape for these things, otherwise you won't get hired.
yeah, a lot of ab scenes and verticals, that's for sure.
What are your thoughts on that? Like the
Yeah,
thirst traps?
I don't mind. I hate it when they do them. They always seem to be right after lunch, which royally
What?
frustrates me because then I don't eat. Or it's like trying to think. I did one where it was they saved the scene for the last day of shooting. So we were there all week. Been doing 12, 13-hour days all week. We finally get to the last one. And they had this giant catered meal for us because it was the last day at the hotel we were shooting at. The chefs, the staff, they made this really nice, big catered, like steak dinner meal for us for lunch. And I didn't eat any of it because I was like, I got the freaking shirtless scene right after this where I get out of the shower. I don't want to have a keg on me. So it was yeah, it's not ideal, but I don't mind it. It's whatever. My thing with that stuff, any sort of intimacy or, body showing whatever it is, as long as there's a purpose for it, I'm okay with it. I always ask to be notified of it up front. So it's not like on the day we're not doing a scene and like, oh, maybe you should do this in your underwear. It's not like that. But as long as I know ahead of time, I know what it's for, I know that there's a purpose for the story, I'm generally okay with it. So I've been very lucky too. The verticals I've done, I've had really good intimacy coordinators, or when there wasn't one, there was a director that was really involved and really good about it, making sure me and the other actors are always comfortable and setting those boundaries. So yeah, it's been good.
It's always good to have that communication
Yeah, yeah. And
because
then
without
I
it,
won't say
shit
which
we go
one. I
sideways.
did I did have a moment where I did one, and at some point the director just yelled out freestyle, and I was like, let's not do that. Let's take a moment here. Are you okay? Okay, are you you know what I mean? Like, so that did happen once, but it's nice because you have to have the ability to be able to stop it. And I hate when people feel like they can't, like, oh, I don't want to speak up against the director or the producer or whatever. Who cares? It's your body. It's you know what I mean? Like, you're not going to be forced to do anything. You just have to be able to speak up. So I would say just for actors too, and just anybody in general, but don't be afraid to, voice your opinions with that stuff. The right person will hear it.
I'm not going to say anything on that.
I
Like, I'm gonna leave that right alone because
don't know
I'm not
how
an
we got to
actor.
that part, but yeah,
No, that just went whee. But no, I'm here for it. But I can understand like from your guys' point of view because the amount of intimacy scenes that you guys would have to do
hmm
like over each project, obviously. What was your first vertical?
First one was Mr. Thompson, You Found the Wrong Girl. So that was the one I did in like 2023, whenever it was, but didn't know what it was. It just, I think it was labeled as like a web series on Backstage. Um, did the self tape, got a call back, got booked on it, showed up, and then I was like, oh, the cameras are flipped the other way. That's kind of cool. Like, like what is this? We're in a giant office, so it's kind of fun. But yeah, that was my first one. It was a really great experience though. Honestly, if I didn't have as much fun on that one as I did, I probably wouldn't have done another one. So it kept me interested, kept me open to doing more. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. It was in summertime as well. That one was like July. We were shooting it, but yeah, it was fun. We had a good group of people. It was really, really hot, really humid that year, but it's all good. We got through it. We got it done, and it was a really good experience. So I enjoyed working with everybody on that one.
This question sort of relates to that, but like is also like adjacent.
Hmm.
It's like when you stepped away from policing and onto set for the first time, what part of you felt most out of place and which
Mm,
part felt strangely similar?
that's a great question. The part that felt most similar, I can say, is definitely being around a bunch of strangers and having to figure out how to make it work and how to have conversations with people and be friendly, but also like to the point, get stuff done. I mean, obviously, as a cop, you're talking to strangers every day and you have a purpose to talk to them, whether it's a traffic stop or you're called there or it's someone you're talking to that just came up to you on the street. Like you always have to be professional. That was a huge thing, and that's honestly law enforcement has helped me the most in that regard. Is just being prepared, being professional, showing up on time, doing your part the best you can, and doing all the prep work with that. The part of me that felt most out of place was definitely like I think probably just I don't know if I don't want to say the creative part because I feel like I've always been pretty creative, but just like coming from law enforcement into any job, leaving police to go into any other line of work or any other place would have inherently felt awkward because cops see everything. We see all parts of society that most people don't ever know is even there and don't see. So going from that to like having a conversation about the coffee you got and why you hate it, why the barista is like a terrible person because they got your order wrong. It's like, is it that big of a deal though? Like no one's dying, no one's. So that was an adjustment. And then I would say with acting too, specifically, generally, I'm generalizing. I'm sorry. Generally speaking, the people in that industry have maybe I don't want to say a false view of reality, but like it's an industry where people are constantly pumping you up and building your ego. So it's very easy to kind of lose sight on the real world. And so I think I noticed that a lot in a few projects I did, not necessarily verticals, but just projects in general. Is like, oh, I joke with people, I go, that person's never been shot at before and it shows. So it's a bad example, but it's just like the biggest adjustment for me, and I'm still kind of working on it. I think I'll always be is going from law enforcement where everything is like life and death, very, very high stakes, very serious, to now we're joking about our coffee and we're potentially upset because this wardrobe is out of place or this blocking is wrong. And I'm like, you guys, this ain't this ain't that. Like we need to just take a step here. But I think I'm doing better now. I've learned a lot as I've gone and been on more sets too, and I kind of know the world more now as well. But yeah, I'd say the biggest adjustment was just kind of transitioning out of law enforcement.
Which would have been a struggle in itself,
Yeah, for sure.
because that's a big change.
It is. It is. It's good. There's a lot of me that missed law enforcement for a very long time, as recently as like a week and a half ago. But there's also a part of me that's very glad I'm not doing it. I can kind of live my life now. I don't have to be looking over my shoulder when I'm off duty, out with friends or whatever. I can grow my hair out if I want, whatever. I can let loose a little bit and kind of live my life now. So
Like, did like becoming an actor feel like leaving one identity behind or
mm,
discovering like a different side of the same person?
definitely that one. I think discovering a new side of myself that I always kind of knew was there, but I never really fully fleshed out or never really allowed myself to explore. Like I said, I'd always been interested in it as a kid, but I'd never really pursued it or knew how to pursue it. So coming out here, excuse me, it's been great too because as a cop, they basically train you to kind of turn off your emotions. You're just kind of like a flat line, right? Because you don't want to come up here, you don't want to come down here. You're just kind of always calm and collected and controlling the situation. because everything around you is crazy and chaotic. So acting has kind of allowed me to flip that and start to give myself permission to, with my emotions, come up here, come down here, spend some time in the middle if I need, you know what I mean? So it's good training to kind of turn my emotions back on. And so when I first got into acting class, that's kind of the way I viewed it. I wasn't there to book roles or whatever. I was basically just there to learn and to kind of practice turning on my emotions again after having them trained out of me to some degree. But yeah, it's been good, and I think that'll always be a work in progress. But I'm very grateful for that. So
So like when you play like roles that are like
mhm.
morally gray, how do you approach them? Like the criminal ones, morally gray ones, how do you
Yeah,
approach them ones? Because you know like all this knowledge.
it's interesting. Yeah, I try to always give them an element of myself. I don't want to just be like playing a person that I've arrested before because I can do that. There's definitely aspects of certain roles that I've done where it's like I'm definitely leaning in on someone I used to arrest, someone I used to regularly deal with. It's just like they call them frequent flyers. It's like the same people that are just constantly in and out of jail. But there are elements of those characters or those people in my characters I play. But I also try to just give it something new, give it a little bit of myself. So I guess, yeah, I do use some of that experience. Mostly it's their mannerisms, it's how they talk, how they walk, things like that. I have real experience with, seeing people in jail, seeing people that are real criminals and real drug lords and gang lords, walk like that and talk. And essentially, I try to emulate that a little bit, but also while putting my own spin on it. So, yeah, I would say that's kind of been a big help for me, though, with a lot of those roles. I love them. Like, my favorite kind of character to play is like a hero that's fallen from grace, like an Anakin Skywalker type.
It's like an anti-hero sort of character.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. Yeah.
Ooh, I want to see more. Like, is there a habit that you still carry over from law enforcement to
Yeah,
acting?
definitely. There's a few. One, if this they're so weird. They're like not necessarily habits, but people would look at me and go like, "What the hell is that guy's problem? Like he's so weird." But sometimes when I'm talking, and again, acting's helped me to kind of correct this, is I'll look around or like I'll be talking to people while just noticing everything around me. Because when you're on a call, when you're in a family fight scenario, you want to be able to do that, right? You want to see what's going on around you. But when you're in a scene that's very emotionally driven and you're an actor and you're trying to like, it's a close up shot, they're like, please, for the love of God, just look at your
Stop
scene
looking.
partner. So then it's been good though to learn that way because it's like, all right, I'm here. I'm gonna lock in now. We're in this moment. You know what I mean? So it's been good that way. But that one, there's another one that's really weird. I always like to be on my phone in the car, like talking to someone. So I'll call my friends, I'll call my family anytime I'm like driving anywhere long distance. I think that's just because I'm used to hearing the radio all the time in the car. And so it's not even just like I can turn the radio on, it's one thing, but like I like hearing like voices, you know what I mean? Like while I'm driving and stuff, because I think it's just like what I'm used to. Another funny one with the car is I'll always walk behind my car. I'll never go in front. I used to work night shifts, and so when you pull a car over, you don't want to walk in front of your headlights because then they'll see your shadow, right? So they'll know where you are. Um, so you always go behind so that they don't know where you are. So I still, again, it's so weird, but to this day, I'll be at the grocery store at 1 p.m. It's totally light outside, and I'm not a cop, but I'll still go around the back of my truck to walk to the store instead of just cutting in front. It's so strange, but yeah, that's definitely one.
That is wild.
Ugh.
Like, I've never picked up on that.
Yeah,
'Cause I know
it's weird stuff.
I've seen these videos on like viral videos. I can't remember what platform,
Mhm.
but like I seen a video of like, I don't know, the one time this cop got out of the car and like touched, I think it was the boot, like of the
Yeah,
trunk of the car,
yeah, yep,
or like the front of the car, left his fingerprint or whatnot. And then
yeah.
that person got into an accident and they scanned the car for fingerprints and they found his fingerprint on there.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
I have seen, I know exactly what you're talking about, and it's so funny because that is one of the
Is
things
that
I
even a real
always
thing?
it's it is unfortunately, but does it do anything? No. I think it's just one of those stupid things cops do that like people go, why the hell does he do that? Because the way it was described to me is one of the like I'll say old timer, one of the like veteran cops that trained me when I was starting out was always saying that he's like, yeah, you gotta put your tap the back of the car, put your fingerprints on it, so if they kill you, then they know who it was. And it's just like, or think of this, or if you do your job, you tell dispatch where you are, you run the plate, then they'll have that info already. They won't need to go pull prints off the, you know what I mean? So in my mind, it's just like, yeah, it's a thing cops do. I never did it. I thought it was so tacky and corny, but yeah, they do it. Whatever.
Like a common sense thing to run the plate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's
So like obviously like you were trained to read people for safety.
yeah, yeah.
Like
Which just
does
back to what I said earlier, like you're acting every day in life, right? When you're talking to someone, like you're reading them a little bit. Same thing when you're the cop, same thing when you're an actor, and you pick up
would
on subtle things like body language and stuff like that too. But
I was gonna say, does that give you like that advantage with your scene partner, like when reading the scene?
sometimes I think if anything, it gives me just more options, more things to play with because I've seen a lot of human behavior and a lot of different nuances with that just because again you're forced to talk to people every day. I don't know how many thousands or tens of thousands of people I've talked to in just 4 years as a cop, but yeah, you remember things. You go, oh well, maybe this character kind of reminds me of this guy I had on this call. And it sounds really weird. I literally remember like 90% of my calls I went on. It's just like I don't know, it's because just the situations they're in, but it's just like ingrained in my memory. So I won't remember their names necessarily, but I can go back and go, oh yeah, I remember when I was on this call, for this, I was with this guy. He was kind of like did this weird thing with his eyes, or he did this like weird thing where he like always like kind of creak his neck or whatever, like different thing. I don't necessarily do it all the time, but it's like for certain roles, yeah, you pull pieces and you take things that maybe you think would add to the role, but I think just in general, it's helped me be perceptive to human behavior, which is all acting is listening, right? And being perceptive. So I don't know.
You got my cogs turning.
Ha,
Like this is crazy. My brain is just like spinning 100 miles an hour. Like I have questions that I want to ask, and
yeah.
then you're just giving me answers, and it's like I have so many more questions. Holy shit.
Uh,
Oh my God. No, this is
that's awesome.
wild. I love this is one of my favorite conversations. I'm so sorry.
Thank you, thank you. No, I love the opportunity to talk about it. So thank you.
Of course. And I'm always eager to learn more. And especially like this, the differences in like law enforcement there compared to here is
Hmm.
wild.
Yeah,
Like y'all have like different rituals and everything. Like
yeah,
that's wild.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just this culture, right? It's different part of the world. Everyone handles things different, so it's crazy.
Especially like watching the shows that I watch and then going down like, I don't know, downtown and experiencing it in like firsthand. I'm like,
Yeah,
what?
yeah,
It's not true. Like it's not universal.
yeah. Wait, they didn't solve the crime in 48 minutes with commercial breaks? What the hell?
And then I don't know. So like some of my partner's family are in
Mm,
law enforcement,
mm,
and I don't know. They said that they've been working on a case for like 4 or 5 months, and I was like, when it doesn't get solved, like
yeah,
quicker.
yeah. Some of them go years. It's crazy. I mean, that's a real thing. They call that the Law and Order effect. There's a term for it because then people think that because of Law and Order, the show solves it in an hour. They think, oh well, why isn't this solved? Why haven't you figured out who stole my car yet? It's like, well, it's been 6 hours, man. We need to work on it. You know what I mean? Like but people are expecting to get it done so fast because it's like that's what we're used to in TV shows and stuff. So
I've seen all the Law and Order too, so
they're good. They're
I
good.
really need to cool it with those shows. But actually, I haven't watched a crime show in probably nearly a year and a half because of
Oh
these
wow.
friggin' verticals.
Yeah, they're adjacent enough, you know. There's a lot of kind of crime
This
tropes in them.
definitely morally grey.
Yeah.
Have you ever played a character that reminded you of someone that you like encountered, arrested, or like,
Yeah, I have. Again, I try to use as much of that life experience and just interactions with people as much as I can when I'm like building a character, but there was one in particular. It was the vertical I did where it was like a mafia style one. I don't know if you've heard of that one. It's called My Mob Lover's Torture. I think it's on like Drama
mhm,
Wave or one of those. But basically, it's kind of a, I'll say anti-hero. He was definitely more anti than hero. 'Cause he's kind of a jerk, but he did, he did good stuff in the end. But to your point, yeah, there's a guy. So this character was like the head of a mafia family, right? He's like the kind of rich, privileged kid who's runs the mafia family, runs the family business, and is into a bunch of, sketchy stuff. But what was interesting to me is I modeled a lot of just kind of his mannerisms. Like it was more just like how he like enters a room, if that makes sense. Like kind of his stride, his walk. But there's a guy that I knew from jail when I started out working in a jail, I should say that. So I was a sheriff's deputy, so you start out in the jail and then you go from the jail to the street. But when I was in the jail, there's a guy that was there and he was the one of the founding members of like a really bad gang. And so he was always like just watching kind of how he would interact with people. You could tell he was higher up, but he always had just such a commanding presence about him when he would walk into, a room or when he would come out of his bunk or whatever. It kind of changed the whole energy. And I thought that was really interesting. So I tried to kind of bring that into that role with the Mafia one, and I think it worked. I don't know. I noticed. I think a couple of times where I'd walk into a room and the energy just kind of shifts, and so I don't know. Maybe it's because of that. I don't know, but yeah, I definitely I've done a little bit of that. Again, otherwise it's mostly just taking little pieces of myself, little pieces of interactions I've had with people. Sometimes it's from people that I've met while I was a cop, but yeah, you just kind of you put all your life experience into a little box, and that box is whatever role you're doing. So it's nice to be able to kind of just build it how you want
I have no words.
it.
I was expecting you to talk more because I was like,
Oh
holy crap, I'm
no,
so sorry.
that's all I got. Sorry.
No, but that's why they start like because obviously here we do training
hmm
and then we go like probationary officer. So like you
Yep.
don't have to start in a jail.
Right.
That's wildly different. That's what?
Yeah, well, and that's only if you're like a county sheriff. If you're at like a city department, you don't have to do that. It's the same. You go through your training, you go through your field training is what it's called, FTO, and then from there you are full-fledged officer. So I just had an extra step in there working in the jail.
Does portraying crime on screen ever feel different knowing the real world consequences behind it?
Yes, it feels different in the sense of I've seen like the real stuff. So it's like, say for example, there's a scene that is excuse me, a family fight, domestic violence scene. There's a few of those in verticals, for better or worse. But if it's a scene like that, obviously there's certain elements that are going to be the same: an argument, physical altercation, whatever, verbal, whatever it's going to be. But there's only so much you can do in the confines of a filming set where there's crew, there's camera equipment, there's sound equipment. So a lot of the stuff is going to be a little different where it's more controlled. Where in the real world, it's like all hell breaking loose. There's like, you never know who's going to pop out of a closet or run out from the driveway, or you know what I mean? Or like if something's going to just randomly happen, like the people you're talking to are going to start fighting you now or whatever. So that's where in like the real situation, I would be handling the situation while scanning, while constantly being aware. And then in the film situation, it's we're having this fight right here, and I'm looking right here because this is my mark, and the camera's right here, and we're having this deep art, so it's very different. But I think it helps me to know both sides of it because I can kind of take the elements of the intensity of the stakes of the real situation, knowing what I've experienced with that in real life, and then kind of funnel it into the performance. So I don't know if that answers your question, but
Oh,
yeah, it is a little different.
do you give anyone else like advice of like how this scene looks in real life? Like this is what people would do, or like, yeah,
Yeah, they're called police technical advisors or tactical consultants, some people call them, but I do that. I've done it a few times on like short films and different things. I would love to do more of that. Verticals are in desperate need of that because there's so many that are just so far-fetched and it would never happen that way. Even if it's like I've seen some where the actors are holding a gun the wrong way and it's like or their belt is totally backwards and it's just like that would never happen. Obviously, I don't think these platforms care because like no one's really going to notice that, but the people that have done it, they notice it and it really turns us off to it. And it's like nothing takes me out of a crime show faster than when they like don't do something like that right. And it's like all you had to do was ask someone. It's a 2-minute conversation and it would have looked fine. So that is frustrating. But I do love to, if it's a role I'm in, I'm kind of, built in tech consultant, I guess. So tech advisor. So it's like, I'll make sure I'm never doing that. I've been on sets where, you know, I'll be working with someone and the other actor has like a gun for a scene or a knife or whatever, and their character is supposed to know how to handle it. So I'll step in. I'll be like, hey man, if you want. I always like give them the option. I'm not trying to like control their performance, obviously, or direct them, but I'm just like, just so you know, like the right way to hold it is like this, or like the right way to hold a knife would be like this, or like if you're, coming down at someone with the knife, it'd be a certain way or whatever. And it's been really, they've been really receptive to it. I've never had a bad experience with that, but yeah, I love like I want to make it as accurate as possible, even if it is a 2-minute vertical episode. I feel like we owe it to people to still make it the best it can be, right? So I would love to get into
believable.
more of that. I'd be open to like working with apps on like a rolling basis, whatever it is. So I definitely I'm trying to get my name out there more for that too, as well as just acting. So anybody.
If you could bring one lesson from law enforcement into every script you work on, what would it be?
Always be a good person. I know that that sounds weird with like law enforcement, but the way I was raised with my dad being a cop was you never know what's going to come around when, right? So, perfect example of this, my dad, he always told me this story. Um, he started in the jail too. So, he was working in the jail one night. This guy got arrested for a DUI. First time he'd ever had a DUI, kind of was ruining his life in the moment. uh, Lost his family, lost his wife, lost his kids because of it. So he was just in jail, having basically the worst day of his life. I think it was Christmas Eve too. It was Christmas Eve. So terrible, right? So my dad saw this dude was having a tough time, walked in and talked to him, just leveled with him for like an hour. They just sat and talked. The guy got out the next morning, went about his life. My dad went about his. About 8 years later, so a long time later, my dad's now a police officer on the street and he's in this call where it was a bar fight and it was a big bar fight. There was a lot of like motorcycle gangs there, like Hell's Angels were big during that time and in that part of where we were at. So there was a lot of like Hell's Angels, a lot of just very bad people in this giant bar fight. My dad was in the middle of a crowd of a big basically circle of people surrounded him, and out of nowhere this guy started charging towards my dad. Before my dad could react, he just kind of saw him coming at him, realized it was too late. Some guy just picks this dude up and throws him against the hood of my dad's car. And my dad was like, what the hell? What just happened? Once he kind of realized it, the guy that threw the guy that protected my dad, was that same guy from the jail. He recognized my dad remembered that and essentially like saved him from getting really, really badly hurt, potentially saving his life if the guy had a weapon. But I always love that example because it's like my dad just chose to be a human with someone. He wasn't a cop. It wasn't like I'm the cop, you're the inmate. It was we're both two men at similar points in our life. We're probably about the same age. He just went in and talked to him, and it paid off 8 years later in the form of, a lot of physical injury. It saved him. But I try to carry that in. I carried that into my law enforcement career. I always doesn't even matter if you were the biggest criminal out there. I would still treat you with respect. You'd be firm, like you wouldn't let them walk all over you, but you treat them fairly, you treat them with respect, and most of the time people will remember that. So I think carrying that onto a set doesn't matter who it's with, if it's the director, if it's a PA, if it's a day player that's there for an hour before lunch. I always try to talk to people and try to be just respectful and decent. I love finding out about people on set, like just learning about how they got there, how they got into acting, because I feel like I have such a random, weird path. I love hearing other people's versions of that. So I just try to be, most of the time on verticals, it's been in like a lead capacity too, which I feel leads have an extra responsibility to kind of carry the tone of the set, as well as like directors. So I just always try to be open and welcoming, and just try to be a decent human being. But yeah, that came from the stories my dad used to tell me as a kid. So I've been able to carry that over. I think I try anyway.
When audiences watch your performances, do you hope they see actor or the life experience behind him?
Mm, definitely the life experience behind it. I think when I think back to the performances that kind of inspired me when I was growing up watching them, it was never because I thought they were a good actor. It was because I believed the character they were in, and the character had real traits, that I could relate to. And so I think the way they achieved that was not through being this great actor, but I think it was because they were able to influence their life and infuse some of their life experience into the character. And I think that's really where the magic happens, is when you can kind of find that intersection of your life with the character's life, and what happens is the performance that comes out of that. And I think that really can move people. So
I wish people could see that.
yeah,
Because talking to you guys, you see more than what's behind the camera.
I gotta
You
say, the
see
vertical
your
scripts, they
brain.
leave sometimes a lot to be desired. A lot of it is just, yeah, it's sometimes it's hard to work with the words on the page.
Hmm.
But credit to the directors that let us adapt and change things around, and yeah.
What is your biggest fear as an actor?
mm, Getting in my own way. And I think what I mean by that is like, I always want to try and do as much service to the script as I can, especially when it's like a really good script. Like the last thing you want to do is like overthink it or just get in your head too much. Like the biggest thing I would need to like always try to remind myself is just to get out of my head, right? Like just get out of my own way. Like you do the work, you prep, you get ready. After that, you just got to let it go. That's like the acting class I go to is like a big part of it. That's like the biggest part is just letting go at the end. So I think just that's my biggest fear, is not being able to do that and then having it show in a performance.
Well, all of your performances have landed for me so far anyway. I don't know about anybody else, but
Thank you. Thank you. I'll take it.
you're welcome. Because now, like, now that I've done interviews with you guys, I can see that some of you like, I don't know, I can see the trying to act. I can see the trying not
Mhm.
to overdo it. I can see
Sure.
trying to like pull back. It's like it's
Hmm.
always good to have like that little bit of knowledge, but like sometimes I'm just like, let it rip.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But you never want to get in your own way.
Yeah, just letting it flow, right? Just letting it be natural. I mean, like I said earlier, the best actors I've always loved, they don't look like they're acting. Brad Pitt, Jeremy Renner, those are some of my favorites. They just like they play such a wide range of characters because it's believable, right? Like they can do it. They can just be natural and be in the environment in the moment, and whatever happens, happens.
Whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
Don't say that because then a lot will happen.
Yeah. Don't say that too loud on a vertical set. Yeah.
Oh,
Freestyle.
definitely not.
Just kidding.
If you could shine a spotlight on one of your verticals for viewers as a must watch, which one would it be and why?
Hmm. That's tough. That's a good question. Honestly, the first one, the Mr. Thompson, you found the wrong girl. Again, it was my first time doing a vertical, so I don't know if I was just like new to it to say, but everyone I worked with was great. Like I know everybody always said, "Oh, everyone I worked with was great," but like I really mean it. Everyone on that vertical was awesome. Like down to the day players. There's a guy playing a doctor for one scene. He was phenomenal. There's these guys playing like, criminals. They were great. One of them was like a legendary animated director that I had no idea who he was until he went home and I was like, I love your shows. Anyway, um, the girl I was acting with, both of them, Caitlin Carter, Jessica Lang, they're both amazing. I hope they continue to work in verticals because they're really, really good and really talented. And it was so easy to act with them. It was very natural. Um, People that were like more smaller supporting roles, I've kept in touch with, and they're what I would consider friends at this point. And like it's cool to watch them do other things and see where their journeys are taking them. But it was just such a good collaborative experience. I really, really enjoyed it. We had a lot of really fun scenes. The script was good. It was some cool venues we were in. It was just a really great experience. And honestly, if it was anything less, I probably wouldn't have done another vertical. So,
This is a quick little get to know you.
okay,
Favorite animal?
Wolf.
A wolf. Ooh.
Yes,
Cat person or a dog person?
dog.
Favorite food?
Pizza.
I love that.
Yeah. You can have
Does pineapple
anything.
belong on pizza?
Absolutely. And
Yes.
jalapenos. It's called volcano.
It's called what?
Volcano style. Jalapenos and pineapple.
I've never heard of that. What the heck?
Flamin' Hawaiian, that's another name for it.
Favorite color?
Orange.
Dream country to visit?
I want to say Australia. I really do. But because of the spiders, I got to go with Norway. I think that would be cool too. Australia will be second
Just because of the spiders.
because of the spiders.
What if I went and did like a big bug spray?
Yeah, if you can just spray the entire continent for me, I will come immediately after that. I would appreciate it. That would be amazing.
Favorite season?
Fall.
Favorite actor?
Jeremy Renner.
I love his work.
He's amazing. Him and SWAT, the movie SWAT, it's like my
The
dream.
movie or the show?
The movie. So the show's based on there was an old show, then there was a movie, then there was a movie in 2004, now there's a new show. But the show with Shamar Moore that's based off
I love
movie.
Shamar.
Yeah, he's great too. But check out the 2004 film SWAT. Colin Farrell, Jeremy Renner. It's incredible.
But what is your favorite movie?
Oh, that I think changes periodically, but right now I got to go with Troy. Brad Pitt, Eric Bana, classic about the Battle of Troy. But it's one of those roles that Brad Pitt was so good and he was just like so believable to me. And everything's
Mm,
practical. There's no CGI. It's all practical stuff, which was really cool for like these like massive battle scenes with like thousands of people. It's all actually extras and like real balls of like flame that are flying down the hill. Like it's insane.
I'm gonna go watch it.
Yeah. Let me know what you think.
I will. Favorite music genre?
Rap, but old school rap, like Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Dr. Dre, that era.
Or do you have a favorite song?
If I had to, actually, yeah. Um, it's got a bunch of names, but I think Runnin, Runnin. It's with Biggie Smalls and Tupac. It's also called in like parentheses "Dying to Live," I think. But yeah, that one. Yeah, actually, you know what? Another one I'll give you, "Changes" by Tupac.
Oh, I love that song.
That totally fits like the last 3 or 4 months of my life too. So yeah, "Changes." We'll go with that one.
Go with that one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna like retype now.
Sounds
Then, like, who's your favorite artist then? Like,
Um, I really like Snoop Dogg. I really like Nas. Um, as far as like new artists, I like Kendrick a lot, Kendrick Lamar. I think he's very talented. Mac Miller, Hoodie Allen, they're a little more alternative rap, I guess. But yeah, I love them. Logic. I'm not picky in the genre, yeah, but those are a few of my favorites.
I like your taste.
Good, thank you.
Not my favorite taste, but I like your taste.
All right,
City life or country life?
city, but that may change in the next couple of decades. City for now, yeah.
Biggest pet peeve?
Mm, when I see things that are so easily fixed wrong in movies and TV shows, vertical or not, specifically police, like when the belt is wrong, when they're holding the gun like this, I don't know if you can see that, like that, instead of like that, like, yes. Technical accuracy, I guess.
Name three things you can't live without.
Hmm. My phone, unfortunately. I
I
wish
should
it
just say
wasn't
other
the
than your
case.
phone.
Yeah, no. I'm gonna get philosophical here. You ready?
Hmm.
We'll say phone because it's business and all that. So phone, wallet, and my ethics. Like, yeah, you gotta have those. They gotta go everywhere with you. And it
Hmm.
may get you into some not so ideal situations, but do the right thing. It'll always matter in
Amen.
the end. Yes.
Like, I'm not even gonna elaborate on that because you just like describe yourself in 5 words or less. One sentence, a quote, a song, a poem.
Um, I don't know how many words this is. I'm not good at math, but
Just do a sentence.
be someone you're proud of. I would say that kind of in line with the last thing, but it's like I've had a lot of experiences in life that I've done what I felt is right, and it's kind of uh, set me back or not gone the way I wanted it to, or whatever reason, it has been a negative. But I try to always just remember that I did what I thought was right. That's all that matters is that I can look myself in the mirror, and here we are. So yeah, be someone you're proud of.
I just wanted to say massive thank you for this morning. I really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it so much. Thank you for your time and for your passion project and your interest in this. This is so cool.